Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I am Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law, and we are having a great time here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. You see all the helmets behind us and all the memorabilia. That's only the start. This is an incredible museum. You'll have a blast here. We want to encourage everybody to come out and check out Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. It's the place to be in North Central Florida. My guests today are Alec Chessari and Mike Perhealth, and they have a very successful landscape company in the Villages. They work primarily in the Villages, and I want to welcome both of you to the show. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Good. Well, I know you guys haven't done any podcasts before, so we just are going to have a little conversation about what you do, and some of our listeners want to know what to do and what not to do when it comes to landscaping their yards. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your background and how you got into this business?
Yeah. So started maybe about 2015. I graduated high school.
Where'd you go to high
went
school?
To the Villages Charter High School.
Oh, wow. So you're a native villager,
Absolutely.
huh?
Yep. I went from the charter school all the way, graduated from there, worked for my father for a little while, ended up going to college and graduated from Florida State with a bachelor's.
Congratulations.
And,
my daughter graduated from Florida State as well, even though I'm a diehard Gator.
It's a crazy story how that happened. I actually didn't miss a Gator home game from middle school all the way to high school. My mother took me to every single home game.
Wow.
And,
so you're a diehard Gator family.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, then I went to college, graduated. COVID happened. And I was working at the Atlanta Hawks in Georgia, and COVID happened.
What were you doing up there?
I was just doing sales, tickets, so it wasn't a major role, but was just learning. After that, came back home once COVID hit, and worked for my father again. Worked there for maybe 4 years, and he owns a landscape company as well. He's been doing this for 35 years.
In the Villages?
In Ocala and the Villages.
Okay.
Yeah. So worked under him, decided that I wanted to go off and do my own thing. And it'll be 5 years in July that I've been by myself.
Well, congratulations.
Yes, sir.
And how did you get involved in the deal?
I've known Alec for quite a while.
Since I was about 12.
Since about 12, and I had my own landscape company for a long time.
What was the name of that?
It was called Hooked Up Landscaping.
Okay.
And my wife opened her own office, and I sold my landscape business, and decided I was kind of done for it for a while. It was hot out there. And then Alec called me one day and wanted me to come be a part of his company, and I've known him for that long, and I was happy to come join his team. He's a great team.
So tell me about your company and your team.
Yeah, so we've progressed a long way. Started just from me and a forklift, and I worked by myself for a little while, maybe about 6 months to a year starting off. Progressed into being able to bring on employees. Now we're at the point to where we could bring on Mike and bring on other people to kind of balance us out and bring in knowledge and skill. And he's been in the business a long time, way back when we met on a bowling league when I was 12. So from then to now, he still had all that experience. And
Who's the better bowler between the two of you?
Me.
Yeah. What kind of average you have?
Nothing great. I'm a straight bowler, I'm consistent around 180-ish.
Oh, that's pretty good.
For a straight bowler, it's
You mean
good.
you don't put the spin?
I don't
in the
do the
curve?
spin. No.
Yeah. But on TV, all the pro bowlers are doing the spin, right?
You give me a no-tap league, I'll dominate it.
What's a no tap?
No-tap is the strike counts even if you only knock down 9. So, but with a straight ball, that's my thing.
So anyhow, you work primarily in the Villages, right, Mike?
Correct.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about what restrictions? Because I know the Villages tries to have a certain uniformity, and don't they build most of the homes out there? You can't just build any home you want, right?
No, they have their models. Yeah.
You have their models, but they also have certain restrictions as far as landscaping, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if somebody in the Villages is either owns a home already, or they're looking to build a home, what are some of the things that you guys do to consult with them to decide what's going to fit their needs best?
Well, usually I go out and I start to make a plan with them, see what they want, check out the scope of the work, tell them at that point what they can do and maybe they can't do. And then once we put together the plan, then we take it to the architectural review committee, the Villages. So you submit that, and then they'll approve it or not approve it, and then you got to figure out what you have to do to get it approved. But we walk our clients step by step through that process.
Yeah, what are some of the things that are limitations? Is what you're not supposed to do?
Well, they have like easements that you can't encroach into. They want you to have a certain amount of your yard actual grass. Some people want to take it all out and do like
I don't have to water.
Right.
If I put hardscape in.
You don't have to water boulders. And if you do, they'll turn to sand, so you better be careful. It might take 10,000 years, but.
And so let's go through the process of giving. You got to talk about budget, right?
Right. And that's probably the touchiest subject because sometimes people don't want to just give you a budget. But so I just try to work for them, find out what they're needing, and then I'll get them that scope of work. And if it's in their budget, then of course we can start moving on. If it's not, then maybe I can come up with alternatives for them or tell them, hey, let's do this, move this. So I work with every customer. When I do the estimates and I go out to talk to people, I'll find a way to work with any customer.
So no matter what your budget is, you can do something. And if they want to go beyond that, then you give them the alternatives. And, basically it's like coming into Spurrier's, looking at the menu and deciding what you want to order.
I want the ribeye, but I might have to settle for the pork chop.
Or maybe the hamburger.
Or the chop steak. Right?
Although the hamburger here is pretty good. So,
I bet it is.
So, Alec, tell me a little bit about the business and how you market your business and what you do.
Yeah, so marketing for us, we honestly haven't done too much marketing. We are very big on word of mouth in the Villages. So our marketing is very slim. We post on Facebook every once in a while. We do an ad with a local restaurant there. Other than that, our marketing is mainly word of mouth. We are exploring other options this year. As we're growing, we hit a huge growth spurt so far in the first 6 months that we're working towards keeping rolling. So we are exploring options now on where we should market, what's the best way to go about it. And other than that, the first 5 years have been all word of mouth.
So now that we're here on Meldon Law Friends Podcast, why don't we do a little marketing and tell everybody how to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So our website is ChessariSod.com. You can reach myself at 352-209-3559. You can reach Mike.
352-460-2579.
And spell Chessari for the listeners.
Chessari is spelled Chessari. And again, that's ChessariSod.com.
Now, do you have a website?
We do have a website.
Okay,
correct.
so if somebody Googles Chessari landscape.
Absolutely. The whole Google profile it'll pull up for them, and then there's a click here for the website button. So it'll take them directly to it. Yeah,
now I understand that the Villages has just really been exploding after COVID, right?
Absolutely.
And how many team crews do you have running now?
Right now, we mainly run one group of 6 guys. So we're running together right now, keeping everyone on track. We have everyone will clean up, then we'll install. So we try to clean up, install, and keep everything rolling that way.
When you say clean up, are you cleaning up the past job?
Yep. From if we're going, say we go in for a sod replacement, we're going to come in, we're going to rip all the other grass out, the old grass, remove it, rake everything nice and flat, and then we're going to install the new sod. So we try to do everything that way, keep everything balanced, and
Well, a crew of 6 people, you can do a lot in one day, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's a big convenience for people that don't want their yard torn up. I mean, some companies, they might do a good job, but they might have your yard torn up for 2 or 3 weeks. And
we try not to leave a mud fest or leave a dirt yard for somebody for several days. It's not what we like to.
Yeah, what do you do when you get these downpours? I know that must be a challenge at times, right?
Yeah, the washout of the dirt could be tough. During rainy season, it's definitely a challenge working in the rain. Maybe you get to work for an hour, get poured on 2 hours or whatnot. So it's a challenge, but everything's rolling.
How do you get your workers? I know it's hard to get people to get out there and work in 94-degree temperature, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We've been blessed. We've had several of the guys on here for a while with us. So we've been very blessed to retain people. But it is when we do have to go find them.
Alec is an amazing owner and a boss, and that's another reason why he's able to retain his employees. He takes care of them. He goes above and beyond. I've worked for some people, and I've never had anybody that will support his employees and take care of his employees like Alec does.
And that's so important,
Absolutely. Try to listen to everybody.
In our law firm, the same as in your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you take care of your employees, you're going to get a better quality employee. You're going to get people that are dedicated to doing it the right way. And so I commend you for that. Earlier, before we went on the air, we were talking about different kinds of sod, and I've bought a lot of sod in my day, okay? And I know everybody in north central Florida uses St. Augustine sod. Correct. For the most part. And about 5 years ago, we were redoing the lawn in the home I'm currently living in. And my landscape guy I've been working with 35 years said to me, there's this zoysia grass, and you've been having problems with your St. Augustine because the chinch bugs are eating it up, and that's why it's turning, you got brown spots and all that kind of stuff. And in Florida, sod is a challenge,
Absolutely.
Because the bugs like the weather here, right?
So
the
weeds also.
The weeds.
And the weeds grow well. And
Absolutely.
We're in subtropical, climate here. So let's talk about choice of sod, because that's a big deal.
Yeah, so you got your main variant, your St. Augustine. Your Floritam's been around for a long time. The pros and cons of each sod. I think with the Floritam, as long as you keep it at a 4-inch cut, you water it regularly, and you got to maintenance it. You got to put pest control, which is your fertilizer, your insecticide, your fungicide. You got to do that every year, all throughout the months that's needed, because you will run into chinch bugs, you will run into grubs, you will run into sod webworm, army webworm. I mean, there's the names, the list goes on and on. Now with the zoysia, you mainly really only got to worry about the mole crickets. That's what'll get the zoysia grass. And the zoysia likes to stay low. Out in the field, they mow it at 1 inch. I mean, you can mow the zoysia grass at 1 inch, 1.5 inches. And when you keep it that low, it's almost like a golf course. And it looks great. In my opinion, it feels great.
Soft to the touch when you walk on it. Yeah,
we like it. Our landscape guy comes out every Monday morning. We pick the early first slot on Monday, okay? And he comes out and mows it. And then when he sees something on the grass, what was it that you said attacks the zoysia?
The mole crickets.
The mole crickets. Yeah, I think he told me a couple months ago to make sure that we got some kind of either spray the insecticide. Yeah,
correct.
We had to get Florida Pest Control out there, and they sprayed it and stuff like that, and get rid of the mole cricket. So For those of you watching and listening, if you're in Florida, keeping a yard and your grass really nice is not just have it installed and forget about it. Okay,
That is correct. If you install a yard and you leave it, you just go with Bahia.
Yeah.
Go with Bahia. We call
So
it turnpike
let's
grass.
talk about it. Okay, I live in the Villages. I just had some nice St. Augustine installed, and I want advice from you guys about how to maintain it. Okay, I've got irrigation. Okay, so do we keep the irrigation on all year? Do we spray periodically? I've got a landscape guy that's coming. How often should he come out? Things like that.
Absolutely. So with the St. Augustine grass, after we install, I always tell every customer, after we install, you need to water for the next 4 weeks. A lot of water. I mean,
Establish it.
Absolutely.
The roots got to grow down
Absolutely.
into the
Get
the
nice
ground.
and deep in the ground. And you can water it for 2 hours a day during these type of months right now where the sun is just beating it all day. And then once it's established, don't mow for 4 weeks also once you get new grass. Once the yard is established, mow it at a 4-inch cut, keep it nice and high, and then you can cut the watering back, but don't underwater or don't overwater. What I mean by that is I usually tell customers maybe 2 hours, or do it 2 hours a week, do it twice a week. And because what you want is you want the grass to be able to find its own water and go deeper into the ground. A lot of people overwater 3-4 times a week for 20-30 minutes, but then you get surface roots. Once you end up getting surface roots, the water stays in, and that's when you get the root rot and the moisture.
Oh,
And
I
that's
see.
what could harm
So
the
if
grass.
you can get the roots to search out water that's deeper in the ground,
Correct.
then you have a grass.
Much healthier.
It's going to be healthier, and even though you can really water it a lot the first 4 weeks,
Absolutely.
that's just to get it established
To get it
and get the
correct.
roots to start going down.
Correct.
Once you get past that point, then what you want to do is
cut
let
it back.
nature take its course, which is the grass is going to seek water.
Exactly.
And it
Yes,
does
sir.
that by having those roots that are established start going down into the
Getting
ground
deeper
to
down.
find the moisture. And when it rains, and we get a lot of rain around here during most of the year, then those roots are going to be able to find moisture in the ground below.
Absolutely.
What about during the dry season that we get sometimes?
Yeah, dry season needs a ton of water. Even at my own house, I cut it back for a little bit, thinking, let it do its thing for a little bit, and then it started browning up on me. So I had to hit it with water. So I've been watering during the dry season, water maybe 3 hours a week right now. So that maybe 3 times a week right now, an hour each time. Now, when the rain hits it, any amount of rain is better than 20-30 minutes of irrigation water.
Yeah. Because irrigation doesn't really do 100% coverage, right?
Correct.
I mean, I guess you could figure out a way to do it, but you'd have to have like hundreds of, what are they, rainbirds? What's the sprinkler? The big
Rainbird,
Yeah.
Hunter. There's quite
Hunter.
a few out there. Quite a few out there.
The super, what was it? There, I remember. I used to do this. We had a big yard, and I used to the bigger one that
Thinking
would
of the
do.
Rainbird.
Yeah, the big. The
I can't think of the name. I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
older one, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a head this
The-
big.
Yeah,
K Rainbird or something like that.
yeah. But for folks that have yards that are not huge, you need to have irrigation if you're going to really maintain it year round, right?
Absolutely. Irrigation is a must for St. Augustine or Zoysia.
And any grass.
Any grass,
I mean,
correct.
you're not going to find a grass that is going to be tolerant of the Florida weather unless you have
Absolutely.
irrigation. And now, can you have a rain control thing that works good as far as knowing when to water? For your irrigation system.
Yeah, most systems come with a rain sensor that you put on like a gutter on the side of the house that you attach to it, and you can put that up there, and it'll read it back to your system if it detects water or not.
Oh, so you put it up on the gutter, not on the ground.
Correct.
Because the gutter doesn't have things that might interfere with how much water gets in it.
Right.
Correct.
So
Another
go
another
ahead, Mike.
thing is a lot of our clientele go back and forth. There's snowbirds.
Yeah,
some
they
people
go up
call them.
north, they come back.
So one thing we've been giving a lot of people and helping a lot of people get set up is the irrigation panels come where you can control them with your phone now. So they have an app. So when they're up north and they know where a storm comes during the summer, they can turn their irrigation down. Or if we're in a drought, they can turn the irrigation off right from their phone from being up north, or out of town.
Yeah, and when weather like we're having now, where you have a week of 94-degree weather, must be like hell on those grass on the grass, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's taking all the water out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not getting rain right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and then all of a sudden, we'll get an inch or 2 inches of rain, and you go, and the grass is happy for a
Floods
while.
out.
What about when we get too much rain? What do you do? Or is that not a problem?
It is a problem, and it isn't. I mean, once it could get a fungus, but it's not a hard fix. You spray a couple treatments of fungicide, and it'll fix it right up. It's
Okay.
not too detrimental to the grass.
Now, do you recommend having, a company like around here we use Florida Pest Control? I mean, do you recommend having a company like that on standby when you need help?
Absolutely. Absolutely recommend everybody that's putting in a new lawn have a professional team watching over it and knowing what type of grass, knowing the bugs. A homeowner can only do so much. And I know, we all use Google and try to figure everything else ourselves, but to just having that professional help and knowing that's what they do, it's always best to have a professional pest control company.
Now, out in the villages, does each homeowner do they have their individual maintenance person, or do they have?
Correct.
Okay, so each homeowner has to hire.
They have to hire their
Their
yep.
maintenance. Now, you don't do maintenance, do you?
We do not do maintenance.
Okay, so do you help people if they need to find a reliable maintenance company?
Yeah, we have good companies that we can recommend, give referrals out, and recommend them to do things we don't do, as pest control and yard maintenance like that.
Yeah. So everybody listening out there, if you want your yard to look really good, you need, good installers. You need good maintenance. You need a good, pest control team.
Absolutely.
And that's when you drive by a house and it looks really sharp, right? That means they
put
had
the
a
work
team.
in.
They put the work in.
Absolutely.
And it's really difficult to know, particularly if you're not there. My wife and I travel, right? So we have to rely on our team to take care of it, when we're out of town. We have a irrigation system. However, when it rains, that's the only time when the grass really gets 100% coverage. And, you can, and then you have to maintain the sprinkler systems, right?
Absolutely.
Now, do you put in the sprinkler systems?
We don't put in new sprinkler systems. We can do repairs and stuff like that, but we don't put in brand new systems.
So in other words, if somebody comes to Chessari Landscape, you'll tell them who could do the irrigation system, who's good for maintenance, who's good for the pest control, right?
Absolutely. We have a good list of great other companies that we know will come through and do the job that we expect.
Yeah. Now, can I just put in a bunch of pebbles in my front yard out in the villages?
Well, with ARC approval, you can. Without ARC approval, that's been a touchy subject right now. There's a few people that have actually purchased homes, villas, that bought the house with full rocks and everything like that in the yard, and now they're getting dinged that it's not in compliance. So they're ending up buying the home and then getting told afterwards that now you got to come in, take it all out, and redo your whole landscape. So it's it's best to go through ARC for everything there.
Yeah, so ARC is the Architectural Review Committee,
Yes,
right?
sir.
For the
Correct.
For those of you that don't know, the villages likes to have a certain amount of consistency and uniformity so that it doesn't look like a mishmash.
Correct.
Okay, and that's the one. So whether it's the home or the yard, the villages has control over that, and the purpose is that most of the people that live there would prefer to have a nice, consistent look rather
Correct.
than. There's nothing worse than having your neighbor have a yard where the grass is like 10 inches high and nobody's maintaining it,
Correct.
and it's like. So what do they do in the villages if somebody's just letting their grass grow and they're not cutting it?
They usually send them notices that they need to rectify the situation. And some people, they think they want something, but it might encroach into your neighbors, and that's another reason they do it. Nobody wants you to, close off their wall or their house with your landscape, the same that you wouldn't want them to do the same thing to you, where the water doesn't flow now. So now, there's a lot of situations that come up there with that.
Well, I think that's really important, and the fact that you guys have been there for a long time, it's a family business for you as far as your dad, and you've been doing it a long time. I think our listeners that live in the villages or close by, if you're going to call Chessari, they're going to walk you through the process and get you to the product that makes you feel good, and they're going to make sure that you know how to maintain it.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the planning, right? When you put the yard
Absolutely.
in.
When Mike goes out to do the estimate, not only when he's designing with the customer, he also takes them to the nursery as well, walks them through the nursery, explains to them where this plant may be good, or where this one may be good, or if they like a certain plant, he'd be like, I don't know if that'll make it where you are. So that's another good step that we try to take to ensure trust.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of sago palms, right? But man, you got to maintain them, right?
Absolutely.
They look great, and a lot of people, they're kind of cool, prehistoric looking plants.
Right. A lot of bugs like them too.
Yeah. I get these little white things on
Yeah,
them sometimes, and I got to call Florida Pest Control twice a year because we have them around our office, and some of them are specimens that are, 75, 100 years old, and
Yes.
they get big and beautiful, but if you don't spray them, then all of a sudden they start turning brown, and then they start dying, and then they,
Covered with that scale, that white
the white scale, yeah. So, we're fighting that all the time as well because I love plants. Some of the palms that we have. We've been in our office now 30 years.
Wow.
And so I planted a lot of these palms back when we moved in, right? And so now all of a sudden, they're huge, and European fan palm I put in.
Yeah.
I got a European fan palm that's 15 feet high now.
Nice.
Okay, and it's got about 8 heads, going all over, and you can't find those easily in the nursery.
Not anymore.
Right?
They sell them when they're this tall. They don't let them get tall anymore.
Yeah,
And it takes years.
So anyhow, you'll come visit our office sometime. You can take a look at some of my specimens.
I pride myself on helping people pick the plants too. A lot of people like the tropical stuff, and if we can use it in certain areas, we do. But I always give them the information of this can be frost damaged, and so when you're picking the plants, it's nice to know what will work, what won't work, what can work, but you're taking a risk, so you know the risk before you take it. Because there's a lot of people that like the palm trees, and there's sable palms, which are Florida natives, which you can plant anywhere.
Right.
But there's some of these other ones that are for tropical, and we're subtropical, and there's a difference. We get that hard freeze in the winter, you can lose a tree, and you spend all that money and make that investment. We like to make sure you're going to get get your money's worth and not something that's
Hey, man, I just lost a Sylvester palm. You know, what you call it, Phoenix palm or Sylvester palm?
Sylvester is what I call them.
The Sylvester, man. And it had a 14-foot of trunk.
Wow.
And we had it for a long time. It was big when it came in, and the bugs attacked it.
Got the lethal bronzing disease, maybe.
Yeah, and I had, the Florida Pest Controls come out and spray it, but it was too late. And, I felt bad. Now I got to go get another Sylvester. And I want 6 foot of trunk. And it's going to, pulling out the old one and putting in a new one, it's $4,000 for a nice 6 foot of.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you guys explain that to your clientele, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. We'll put it in for you if you want it, but we're going to let you know this could happen, and
right.
It's going to cost you to change out again if it doesn't make it.
Well, listen, we're getting near the end of the show, but I want to have the viewers and listeners have the contact information again. So why don't you go ahead, Alex, and give them the contact information for you.
Yeah, so Chessari Sod in Landscape, we're located in the villages. We don't limit ourselves to the villages. We are located there, offices in Wildwood. And you can reach us at 352-209-3559. And that'll be a direct number to the office. And then, Mike, you want to say your line
The
again?
number to reach me would be 352-460-2579. And you can call me and set up an estimate directly.
Well, that's great. Thanks for being on the show, Alec Chessari and Mike Perhealth from Chessari Landscape. And these guys are the real deal. They'll give you great service at a fair price. And you want somebody that knows what they're doing. Believe me, I've had enough yards that I want somebody that knows what they're doing. So give them a call and see if they can help. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back on Meldon Law and Friends with our community update.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey!
Somebody else hit us here. Here we go again. Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law. We help people put their lives back together after serious accidents. If you've been in an accident and you want our help, reach out to us at 352-373-8000 or just go to meldonlaw.com. We've been serving North Central Florida, including the villages, since 1971, and we really enjoy helping folks out. I promise you will get the Ritz-Carlton experience, meaning When you call the office, you'll feel like you're listened to. You're going to get great service. Our team delivers on our promise to get you the best result possible. As a matter of fact, based on information I have, we're getting 2.3 times more than the average that the other big box law firms get. They make a lot of money because they got tons of advertising with clients, but when you want to get the real deal, you call Meldon Law. A couple things going on in the community. Yacht Rock Gold Experience in Ocala at the Riley. For those of you that haven't been to the Riley Arts Center, it's got a great stage, great shows, and July 12th at 3 p.m., there's the Yacht Rock Gold Experience coming to the main stage and for a memorable concert. We're trying to figure out what Yacht Rock is, but it's, maybe Jimmy Buffett, maybe Christopher Cross, maybe some Kenny Chesney thrown in. I don't know, but check it out. Next, we have through July 19th in Levy County, pet adoption. Various locations around Levy County for cats and dogs. If you want them spayed or neutered, rabies, microchipping, all of that's available.
They're going to be doing some of that at no cost.
Yes, yeah, and that's great because you really want to make sure that our furry friends are taken care of, and you don't lose them. We just got a cat, and we didn't want to lose him. Right? He's a kitten now, so we got the chip because we're afraid he's going to jump out of the house, get lost, and we got to find him again. Right? So anyhow, Cheer Summer Camp in Gainesville. Right here where Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is, about 500 feet away, is the Alachua County Sports and Events Center. It's air-conditioned, so July 21st to July 24th, they're having a summer camp there. And just contact Alachua County Sports and Events if you want a great time for a 4-day camp for aspiring cheerleaders at all skill levels. So if your kid wants to be a cheerleader and wants to do master jump, stunts, build teamwork skills, that's the place to be. July 21st through the 24th, Alachua County Sports Center. The Blackbird Morning, Original Rock, coming up July 23rd at the Bo Diddley Plaza in Gainesville, right downtown. And they perform original rock music with great driving melodies and performance. And it's really fun out there. It starts at 7, it runs 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, so the sun's down a little bit. And you get to sit out there on the grass and watch a show. It's free. Bring your chairs, a picnic, enjoy music under the stars. Pretty cool. The Ocala Summer Series at the World Equestrian Center. We're big fans of WEC, and check out all summer long until August 10th. They have elite hunter jumper competitions going on, and all you have to do is go out to the World Equestrian Center, check it out. You can go online and see what dates and what times, but they're running for the next month and a half. So it's a great time for the family out there. The North Central Florida Outdoor Expo, that's coming up a while from now, August 16th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's at the World Equestrian Center, Expo Center number 2.
You can see us, Chessari Sod.
Oh, you're going to be there. Okay.
The North Florida
Yeah, so
Outdoor Expo.
Whether you're a seasoned outdoorsman looking for a fun day out with the family or want to find a good landscaping crew, that's where you need to be.
Yes,
At the North Central Florida Outdoor Expo Center, August 16th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the World Equestrian Center. And then our home and garden show right here at the Alachua County Sports and Events Center in Celebration Point is on August 23rd and the 24th, all day long. And everybody is out there as far as home and garden. So that's a big deal. Check it out. A couple other things. I'm giving away my book, Buying Florida Auto Insurance, because so many people in the state of Florida don't realize that the other person that hits you and seriously injures you probably doesn't have enough insurance coverage. Half the people in the state of Florida have $10,000 or less in bodily injury liability insurance, which means that if you're hit 50-50, they won't have more than $10,000. And if you're knocked out of work for months, if you, God forbid, or, so seriously injury, you need bad, surgery, you're put in a wheelchair, things like that, you cannot count on the other person having insurance in the state of Florida, the only state in the country with no requirement for liability insurance. So, our book is free. It's called Buying Florida Auto Insurance. And I'll give you, my quick tip is you have to buy uninsured motorist coverage because the other person probably doesn't have enough coverage. So
that's stackable, right?
Yeah, well, uninsured motorist coverage is stackable, and you bring up a good point, Mike, because if you have two or more vehicles, you get them on one policy, and you can get double the coverage just by stacking them. You tell your insurance agent you want stacked insurance on two or more vehicles. So if you have $100,000 in coverage on uninsured motorist coverage, and you have two cars on it, you have 200,000, 400,000, or I'm sorry, the 100,000 coverage usually is 100,000 per person, 300,000 per crash, meaning if there's 5 or 6 people injured, the maximum would be 300,000. So you double 100, 300, and you get 200, 600. You have 3 cars on, you got 300, 900. So we have one case now where serious injuries, fusions that are going to last a lifetime on a young girl. And luckily, her mother had $300,000 worth of uninsured motorist coverage, and they had 5 cars, and she stacked it. So we have a chance to get as much as $1.5 million because the girl's mother was thoughtful enough, and actually, she knew me, and they had an accident earlier, like 12 years ago, and I told them, I said, you got to go get stacked coverage, and she listened to me. And then when this very serious accident unfortunately happened, they had enough coverage. So it's a good point that you bring up. So check out our book. All our books are free. All you have to do is call the office at 352-373-8000, and we'll send you your copy in the mail free. You can stop by the office and we'll give it to you, or you can go online and you can download a PDF version of it right away. Go to meldonlaw.com, and on the homepage you'll find it. So that's what we're trying to do to help our clients know how to protect themselves and their families, because uninsured motorist coverage covers you in your own car. It covers you in someone else's car. It covers you on your bike. It covers you if you're a pedestrian. It even covers you if you're on a golf cart in the villages. And, the villages has a requirement. They have a minimum of $500,000 of bodily injury liability for every golf cart there, because golf carts can be dangerous. We had someone that ran over our client who was on a bike in the villages and killed him in her golf cart. And we found 5 different policies that provided coverage, and we got the family $4.25 million, which certainly doesn't compensate for the death of, the loved one, but at least there was some money to help the widow and the rest of the family. So very important to buy uninsured motorist coverage. Thank you very much for bringing that up, Mike. I appreciate that. So anyhow, we're done with this edition of Meldon Law and Friends. If you have a need after an accident, please give us a call at 352-373-8000. And thank you very much for helping us grow. We're up to 50 employees. We have offices in Gainesville, Lake City, Ocala, and soon to be in the Villages. I've been looking there for a little while now, and I think we're honing in on some locations in the Village. But we have been serving the Villages for 45 years. We've been down there. I've helped people in Lake County and in Marion County and Sumter County for a long time. So if you need help, please give us a call. We're glad to serve you. And that's a wrap on Meldon Law and Friends. And we'll be back next week with another very interesting and exciting edition. Thank you for viewing and listening.